Hi, my name is Gea Eshleman, and I'm making my heroic imagination project on how I would have reacted if I'd been a witness to the Kitty Genovese murder. Would the bystander effect have gotten the best of me? The Kitty Genovese murder refers to the tragic killing of Catherine or Kitty Genovese. Kitty Genovese was returning home from work at around 2:30 a.m. on March 13th, 1964, when she was approached by a man with a knife. Genovese ran toward her apartment building front door, and the man grabbed her and stabbed her while she screamed. There was an estimated 37 neighbors who witnessed this attack, but did nothing. At one point, a neighbor, Robert Moser, yelled out his window, "Let that girl alone," causing the attacker to flee. Genovese, seriously injured, crawled to the rear of her apartment building, out of the view of any possible witnesses. 10 minutes later, her attacker returned, stabbed her, raped her, and stole her money. She was found by neighbor Sophia Farrar, who screamed for someone to call the police. Police arrived several minutes later. Genovese died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The Kitty Genovese murder is a perfect example of the bystander effect, a social psychological phenomenon that occurs when individuals are less likely to help a victim in an emergency situation because others are present. The presence of other people leads to a diffusion of responsibility, making individuals less likely to take action because they assume someone else will. This diffusion of responsibility often results in a delayed or absent response to emergencies, as was observed in the case of Kitty Genovese with the 38 unresponsive witnesses. Now, I would like to think, before knowing what the bystander effect is, I would have intervened in the Kitty Genovese murder, but I don't know if that's the truth. I think a big part of this is personal safety. If I saw another young woman being attacked across the street, I would be really terrified to physically intervene because I think he'd do the same thing to me. And I bet a million different thoughts would rush through my head. Is he going to kill her? Is this real? The shock would be so overwhelming that I wouldn't even know how to react. I wouldn't even know if it was a real emergency. Like, should I call 911? Has someone else already called 911? Will he attack me if I try to help her? Can she defend herself? What's actually going on here? I'd probably just freeze. And if I was able to get past this, I can kind of picture what would happen. I think I'd start yelling frantically, "Someone help her. I'm calling the police. Somebody do something." I'd probably keep screaming before I actually dial 911. I might start throwing stuff, but I might be too scared to do that. And if I did call 911, Kitty might already be dead by that time. Even understanding what is going on in mine and other people's brains, I don't know if I would have done anything differently because of shock and the instinct to protect myself, unless I knew exactly what to do and what steps to take. Some actions I can take include assuming responsibility for calling 911 and for delegating other tasks to people, pointing at people, like you and you, throw that trash can at him, or you call 911, and creating a disturbance or distraction to draw attention to the scene and maybe scaring the attacker away. Calling out, say, that person needs help, can help me and other people recognize the situation and recognize that it's an emergency because the shock might be so overwhelming. In other situations, such as if you're at a party and you see someone being harassed or someone bullied at school, there's other steps to take. First, be aware of what's going on around you. Second, assume responsibility for taking action. Assume that no one else is going to do anything. And third, step in and help others. Take action by separating the people involved, creating a distraction, recruiting other people to help, and getting authorities involved when necessary. People can memorize the 5 Ds for intervening as a bystander: distracting, delegating, documenting, delaying, and directing. Distracting refers to trying to diffuse the situation or cause a distraction, such as making a commotion or engaging a person in small talk to disrupt the harassment. Delegating is asking for help and intervening, ideally from a person of authority. In an emergency, people should call 911. And third is documenting, if it's necessary and safe to do so, and if the person is in need of receiving help, take a video and if the person in need is currently receiving help, then take a video or photo or write notes on the situation people involved for later. And fourth is delay. If possible, check in with the person who is the target of the incident and offer assistance or support. Direct is if the target of the incident and everyone else is safe, speak out against the harasser and their behavior directly. So, essentially, my heroic imagination presentation was telling you how to be an upstander, why it's important, and how in the past people have failed to do this through the Kitty Genovese murder. So hopefully you'll be an upstander too.